I break from the norm. I wear my heart in my sleeve, so don't be breaking my arm. This is Mark Belton, SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. I hope you had a freaking happy Easter, and I hope the Easter Bunny brought you lots of peeps, because I know how much people love peeps. Ever notice how enjoyable the Easter peanut butter cups are? The Easter egg peanut butter cups? Why are those so delicious? They clearly have a much higher ratio of artificial peanut butter, which is the greatest invention of all time, bar none pretty much. And then right behind that though, or a long second behind that, is of course the Slingshot, and then maybe throw electricity in there somewhere. Anyway, we got questions to answer here today at the Power Project, and a couple of them are kind of related. A lot of them are related to max effort work, maximum lifts, heavy lifting basically. The first question is about Circa Max training, and this guy kind of complicates the question, is very confused about what in the hell to do with the Circa Max phase. A Circa Max phase, typically done at Westside Barbell in Columbus, Ohio, is a very loaded up phase that you do going into a power meet. About 4 weeks out from the contest, you'll go week 1, you'll go super heavy. Week 2, you'll go a little bit heavier than super heavy. Week 3, usually back off a little bit, and then week 4 is the contest. Now they have various ways of doing it, and there's been a lot written by Louie Simmons about it for years on the different ways they do it. I myself have had some success in doing it, but not the exact way that they do it. What I would suggest for you, because it doesn't really sound like you're strong enough to even go through with this Circa Max phase, all I would do is, anybody out there realize this: when you're preparing for a power meet, make sure that you're preparing for the power meet. Make sure you're not preparing for other lifts that are unrelated to the power meet. This is for newer lifters. If you're more advanced, you can say, hogwash. You can do it whatever way you need to do it, but do it whatever way is going to set you up to be successful. If you're a newer lifter though, please make sure that you're doing the lifts that you're asked to do in the meet. So, having said that, I would advise you on doing a Circa Max phase, if you want to call it that, basically where you are going heavy, going into the meet, but you're doing the lift itself. And you could even throw in something like a reverse band squat as well to handle a little bit of overload. The way that Donnie Thompson did it, the way that Dave Hoff does it, all kind of very similar. Dave Hoff likes to squat down into a set of chains. Not squat with chains, but squat down into a set of chains. He'll squat 3 inches high in week 1. He'll squat 1 inch high in week number 2. Week number 3, he'll back off a little bit, do speed work. Week number 4 is the meet. Something along those lines. I'm sure that he has changed his methods at this current time as well, because lifters evolve quickly and they move fast. The ones that are good, the ones that are great, do that. Donnie Thompson would do, Donnie Thompson squatted 12 something. Can't even remember the number now. I want to say like 1270. But when Donnie Thompson was preparing for those huge squats, he would squat around 1200, 1220, 1250. Then he would take a huge reverse band squat with a little bit more than what he was asked to do in the competition. Or sometimes it would be whatever his third attempt was going to be, or even a world record attempt he would take with the reverse band, just to help to build confidence. He was kind of overloading with some of those weights. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Just basically take those last 3 or 4 weeks as a week to tune up and prep for the competition, and realize that you don't have to just only do max effort work on, Circa Max work. You can do Circa Max work on other exercises. Also keep in mind that you will probably have to cut some things out, especially if you're a geared lifter, due to time management issues, and also just due to the fact that you might be worn the hell out. So make sure that you're a little cautious when doing this Circa Max phase. I know Dave Hoff actually does one with his bench press as well. But basically, just in the simplest terms possible, it's just a boom, it's an explosion of heavy lifting, crazy heavy lifting, as heavy as you can possibly handle. But it's only for a 2 or 3 week spurt, and then boom, you're back out of it, you get a week off, and then you have the contest. The next question is about, this guy wants to know, how much rest do you need between heavy lifts? That's a very individual thing. It's a very individual basis. At Super Training Gym, the way we do it is we just go one lifter at a time. So if we lift in a group of 5, then it goes one lifter, the next lifter, the next lifter, the next lifter. As the weights go up, as it gets heavier, as things become more difficult, a lot of times people will start to take more rest, or sometimes guys will challenge each other and try to push each other a little bit harder and make the other guy go faster. If one guy's in good shape, it's not a big deal for him. If another guy's not in such good shape, then he will mess around with his belt, tie his shoes, and all these little tricks in order to still stay in the game. But to answer your question in short, you got 3 to 5 minute rest periods for heavy lifting. When the weights start getting real heavy and become more advanced, some guys like to take even more time, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. In a power meet, a lot of times you have 10 to 15 minutes. So sometimes you want to get accustomed to the things that you're going to deal with on game day. His other question is about how many heavy movements can you do in one day? That's a great question. How many heavy movements can you do in one day? Should the whole day just be devoted to going absolutely nuts and absolutely as heavy as you can on each thing? I would say absolutely not. I would say assistance exercises are assistance exercises. Just like supplements are to supplement your diet, assistance exercises are to supplement your strength training and to supplement your weaknesses and to get you to hit muscles from different angles that you normally can't hit them from. However, what I would say is this, is I have invented, I'll just take credit and say I invented it. It's just a term I came up with, really. A secondary barbell movement. So you got the first dairy barbell movement, which could be a heavy squat. And the secondary barbell movement could simply be a good morning. Another example of that would be in the case of deadlifting. You could do some sumo deadlifts. You could follow your sumo deadlifts up with some deficit pulls. Keep in mind that you're typically going to use the max effort method on exercise number 1, and on exercise number 2, you're going to apply the repetition effort method normally. So the repetition effort method, you're going to be looking for 4 sets, 3 sets of 6 to 8 repetition range. You're usually looking for more reps in that secondary barbell movement than you were from the first one. Another example of a secondary barbell movement is simply to do the same barbell movement. So it's not so much secondary as it is just a lighter set. So you can do a squat, you can do a heavy squat. Squat as heavy as possible. Let's say you squat 500, knock off 100, 150 pounds or so, and rep that out and try to set a rep record. Maybe even knock off another 50 pounds after that and try to do more reps. Power train coming through. So those are some different ways that you can get some outstanding stimulus, and then you still have to get to your assistance work after that. Keep in mind that your training session, your amount of training time that you're in there, can somewhat get eaten away by doing these 2 movements in a row. The clock is ticking, and you want to try to keep everything as compact as possible and have a good workout that doesn't take any longer than about 90 minutes or so, including your warm-up. And sometimes powerlifting workouts can sometimes take forever, as we all know. Secondary barbell movements have been very effective for super training, very effective for a lot of the guys that I work with, very effective for a lot of the guys that Jesse Burdick is working with as well. Somebody else had a question about full range of motion, max effort movements. Some examples are, you got full range of motion and then you have like excessive range of motion. So an excessive range of motion would be, or not excessive, but a further range of motion would be something like dumbbell presses, incline dumbbell presses. I would say even an incline barbell, you're getting a little bit more rotation of the shoulder. So there's a couple of examples. Full range and further range of motion exercises. Another one would be, like in the case of the deadlift, you got deficit deadlifts. And you can do that from various heights, various angles. You can do a deficit deadlift sumo. You can do a deficit deadlift conventional. You have Olympic style squats, close stance, squatting as low as you possibly can. You have regular squats where you're just squatting to parallel or slightly below. You have a box squat. You have a low box squat. So you have a lot of options at your disposal. When it comes to the bench press, you're a little bit more limited. Your full range of motion work should include some slingshot work from howmuchyoubench.net. Type in Easter and receive $10 off the slingshot right now from howmuchyoubench.net. But that's a great full range of motion movement for those of you that don't have bands and chains. It will still help you to accommodate resistance. Weights will be lighter at the bottom, heavier at the top. We also have paused bench presses. We also have close grip bench presses. So the variations are only limited to the ideas up in your brain, son. So whatever you can gather from the old noggin up there is going to be stuff that you can utilize and apply to these full range of motion, max effort movements. What I would suggest, you said you didn't get anything from doing floor presses and board presses and things like that. I would not completely exclude them. I would not completely nullify them from my training. I would instead turn them into secondary barbell movements. That's what we do here at the Power Project. We create magic and we make people stronger because we realize that strength is never a weakness. And that is it from supertraining.tv.